I don't know if y'all have heard, but word on the street is that Wendy Williams may already be preparing to reclaim her daytime TV crown following the cancellation of Sherri Shepherd's show.
For all of us here at Sherri. And I know that you have seen the news, and I'm ready to address it. Our show has not been renewed for another season. And I wanna say to y'all, everybody, y'all try not to faint or fall out, because healthcare is expensive and none of us have it anymore. So y'all.
According to recent reports, producers are allegedly already eyeing Wendy for a comeback and are said to be in talks with her about a potential return in 2026, especially since she could be free from her conservatorship as early as next month. But what many people don't realize is that Sherri's cancellation may run deeper than Wendy simply stepping back into her old slot.
Those people don't understand when we are in power, the battles we gotta fight that you will never know.
So what is really going on here? And why does Sherri seem so emotional? That's exactly what people are trying to unpack. For a while now, rumors had been circulating that Sherri's show was on the chopping block, and those suspicions were eventually confirmed through an official statement announcing that the series would air its final episodes in the fall, citing shifts in the daytime television landscape rather than any failure of the show or its host. Still, industry watchers weren't convinced, especially since the show was reportedly performing well financially. Adding to the skepticism was the fact that the cancellation news broke through an article instead of coming directly from Sherri herself, something many felt she deserved, particularly when Kelly Clarkson was given the chance to personally announce changes to her own show earlier that same day. The speculation intensified after Sherri became visibly emotional while discussing the renewed backlash surrounding America's Next Top Model, following a recent Netflix project revisiting the show's controversies. Sherri's platform became a major part of that conversation as she hosted former judges and openly defended Tyra Banks, arguing that Tyra was navigating the industry as a young black woman at a time when inclusivity wasn't prioritized, social media accountability didn't exist, and support systems like intimacy coaches were unheard of. Sherri acknowledged the harm caused by the show while also stressing that it was a different era, crediting Tyra for pushing diversity forward and laying groundwork that later benefited models like Isis King and Winnie Harlow. Still, her emotional response left viewers wondering whether her defense of Tyra, and her involvement in reopening that conversation, played a larger role in what ultimately led to her show's abrupt end.
To keep a show on the air, there are things that we have to do that people will tell us, if you want to stay on the air, this is what you got to do. And we got to weigh the options. And sometimes we make bad decisions and we look up and we go, in hindsight, maybe I should not have done it, but I just want to open the door and give a platform to people who look like me.
When you really listen to what Sherri Shepherd has been saying, it actually starts to click. But in the context of her show's cancellation, many people now believe there was something deeper beneath the surface. Viewers have pointed out that her comments about people like her being forced to constantly weigh what's best for themselves sound less like general industry talk and more like a subtle acknowledgement that she was being pushed out. Some even believe Sherri was cancelled precisely because she refused to play the game, arguing that her brand of positivity didn't fit an industry that thrives on controversy and toxic narratives. But the plot thickens further, because reports suggest the split was anything but amicable. Sherri was allegedly expecting a significant pay increase and had requested major changes to her schedule, including filming fewer days while earning more by taping multiple episodes at once so she could pursue acting opportunities. Sources claim her relationship with Debmar Mercury began to sour sometime last year, and despite solid ratings and a revenue surplus, her contract was intentionally not renewed. Insiders say Sherri was blindsided and deeply hurt, as she had been hoping for a multi-year renewal and a salary bump going into season 5. Enter Wendy Williams, because this is where the story takes another turn. Allegedly, Debmar Mercury decided to bring Wendy back to daytime TV due to overwhelming public demand, believing she could deliver the kind of ratings dominance they once enjoyed. While Sherri's numbers were stable, data reportedly showed she wasn't commanding daytime the way Wendy once did, prompting producers to chase a major revenue reset. Rumors now claim Wendy has already secured a luxury 3-floor penthouse with an elevator to accommodate her lymphedema, allegedly covered by production, along with extensive on-set accommodations, including specialized stage access due to mobility issues. Additional reports say Wendy negotiated full-time personal drivers, a private chef, and a life coach to support her sobriety, while agreeing to random and scheduled testing as part of her return. On top of that, she is rumored to have received a one-time retroactive multi-million-dollar payment tied to how abruptly she was removed from her show. Wendy, for her part, has been vocal about reclaiming her independence, openly questioning why she has remained under guardianship since 2022 despite reportedly passing multiple mental capacity evaluations, and expressing frustration over delays tied to further testing allegedly influenced by her guardian. These revelations have fueled public debate, especially after Wendy spoke candidly in interviews, including her highly discussed appearance on The Breakfast Club, where she made it clear that she wants full control over her finances, her life, and ultimately, her comeback.
Said you're cognitively impaired and you're incapacitated.
Do I seem that way?
No.
You've been
God
calling,
damn it.
You've been calling me 5 times a day for the last 2 weeks. No, you don't seem that way.
And just to be,
How dare, excuse me, who I naturally am is who I naturally am, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
And my niece knows all about that crap. I mean, I'm sorry. I apologize.
So here's where things really heat up. Wendy Williams is clearly determined to reclaim her spot. Her fans are hyped, and some are bluntly saying they don't feel bad for Sherri Shepherd at all, especially since there's long been a belief that Sherri allegedly went behind Wendy's back to take over her show and time slot. That narrative only got louder when Sherri reportedly fired Wendy's longtime executive producers, David Perler and Suzanne Bass, a move insiders claim came directly from her. Things allegedly spiraled further when Sherri brought John Murray into the fold, who was later accused of creating a toxic work environment, with staff describing him as volatile, demeaning, and overpowering behind the scenes. Crew members reportedly said his temper and ego poisoned the atmosphere, turning meetings into shouting matches and making Sherri's dressing room feel like a war zone, to the point where people openly celebrated when he finally exited the show, feeling like they could breathe again. Now, with Sherri also out, some folks are unapologetically saying good riddance and calling for Wendy's full return, though there's a major catch. If Wendy goes back to television, she may be forced to resume alimony payments to Kevin Hunter, since her divorce agreement reportedly requires payments only while she's working on TV, which is why she had been exploring alternatives like radio. Still, knowing Wendy, many believe she already has a strategy in place if this comeback actually happens, and that's why people are buzzing with the same questions. Was Sherri pushed out to make room for Wendy? Is there more going on behind the scenes than we're being told? And is Wendy really about to reclaim her throne?